Right, now I've got all the electrics in place, which we did in our last video. It's time to start planning what's going to happen in this bottom level, all this board I've got in here. You will notice, I'll put a picture up. You can see my hand up here of what we did have at the back along here. And I've done away with that. It was good for testing the ramps, etc., but it's not really what I want. So this section is where the main station on the layout is going to be. Now I'm going to come from one ramp into here, and from the other side will come into here. The boxes at the moment are just to represent where a platform will be. So platform serving this line, platform serving this line and this line. Both these are terminating platforms, hence I've put the boxes at the end to show that. And then we have another platform serving this terminating platform and this straight through that goes back up onto the main line. Because of the nature of the ramps being on alternating sides, up in that corner, can we get there with this? So up here, I'm just going to put a couple of air points so we can switch back to the correct line, and there's going to be clever things done with Arduino that'll stop trains that are on the outer line from crashing into each other, but that'll be well in the future. I also, with the curves I did underneath, they were good. They've been good for testing, but they're not brilliant. So I'm actually going to cut something more substantial to the correct height. Going to get this board cut down to fit in at the correct height, and going to start on what's running into the bottom layer from the station area. So as I get some wood cut and track laid, we'll have a look at what I'm up to. Okay, so I've got my board in place now, which is going to have the station on top of. It's only on top of 4 little legs here, so there's a lot of space underneath. So when I get round to that stage, going to be plenty of space for point motors underneath. But there's also going to be enough room underneath to run a train. As we get to it, you'll see what I do, but it's not to be part of an illusion that we've got trains that just going in a loop on a layout, that they're coming from lots of trains going from the same direction, not coming back on themselves. But we'll get to that. So I've tested all this track that's in the main, that's part of the connected into layout yet. Obviously these aren't yet. And it's running all across. Few problems because of height difference over here on this point. And if you notice, we're now coming in at a different angle from the ramp down. Had to do that to straighten things up for these points coming into the station and keep it nice and straight. So next thing I'm going to be doing is take out this piece of track up to the bottom of the ramp, mark it out on a bit of board and cut it in board, because these polystyrene aren't quite the right height, so I need to replace, either put something on top or replace it completely. So we'll do one side and come back and have a look at the other, but I'm going to start on this side and see how we get on. So, I'm busy doing up a part of my kitchen as well at the moment. So, I've dismantled a load of the old units as I've taken them out. So I've got all this handy wood to be able to cut pieces out for track to go on. So I'm going to get that cut out and installed, and we'll see how things, and probably the next part, and we'll have a look at it. So that's it worked absolutely perfect first go. Obviously there'll be landscaping done off of this at a later date. This is just for the frame of the track, but I had to cut a little bit off there, so we literally start from the curve, all nicely on. Need to get the cork on it, but I want to get it painted brown first and then cork on, which will be the next thing. But if I flip that, we're working fine. A lot more even height than when it was running over the polystyrene. Nice and stable, nice and sturdy. So I'm going to get this painted brown, screwed onto the support legs, and looking at the other side, doing the other side exactly the same, because how this has worked, really happy. And when I do the brown paint, I'm off to paint all the way up here, so we can start looking at getting some of this track pinned in, which will improve it. But yeah, we'll have a look when that's looking a different colour. I just thought we'd have a quick look, because it's not often, like anyone who's done a model railroad will have come across these things, just how disruptive doing alterations can be. So obviously we've got trackers had to be taken up, going right back to the points at the top of the ramp. We've got all these polystyrene blocks that are no longer in use, which did have all these new curves in place. If we come around here, I've had to take out that corner just so I could access everything while I was testing everything fitted. I made the made the decision while it's off, got it painted in the brown. This brown doesn't have to be brilliant. As you can see, it's not great. It's a very, very bottom layer to coat things, but it has hidden the fact that these were bright white. So it's done its job. So next thing I want to do is get all the track back into place, pencil it in, pull it back off and get cork laid. So when we get to laying some cork, we'll have a look at things maybe. Oh, another thing I need to do, this area, you can't tell, but because I've only done the four corners and it's like 4 foot wide, it is bowing a little bit in the middle. So I'm just going to shore up in the centre, avoiding where points are, because I now know where motors have to go eventually. So just to shore that up, and I may also, once we've got these two entry points back in place, so we know where these have got to be, get all this off and get it painted grey. But lots to be getting on with, and we'll jump in as we can. So I thought we'd have a little bit of a progress update. You can see got a cork in there now, and it also goes all the way down this piece. Fits really nice. Went to 3.6 centimetres, cut in half for the curves, so that's what we'll be doing elsewhere. While this was drying, I've taken the opportunity to paint this piece, if we come out slightly, you can notice on these legs, I've added a little extra. It's piece of plywood, which is 1.2 centimetres, and it's because last night while I was testing running, I noticed as we were going through here, we got a bit close at the top. Still had about a centimetre clearance on there, even a carriage, my tallest carriages, but I just added a little bit more to give that nice clearance, make it run a bit better. So next thing I need to do is get the track fitted down here so I can match up into the curves and get the cork on the curved parts. So we'll get that cork in place, and hopefully this should all be nicely fitted together again then. And at the same time, I'll be doing the other side. So making some really good progress here. Cork's drying on here. Can we go in close? Don't know if it's going to show on the camera. Oh yeah, it is. So we can see here, I've cut the cork in half. So it's like 1.8 centimetres each, roughly. So it'd bend round so I can do the corners. So that's the corner for the other side of the layout. Over there. So that one's coming along. But we have all this one in place. This is all pinned in now. All the way around. And while I was at it, I've also screwed in all the legs from underneath. So everything's a lot more secure now. Can we see? That includes for the back portion, for the ramp, I don't think we can, we can just about see it from there. But that's also screwed in from underneath to stop it moving about, because it was causing issues, but it's now nice and stable. So I need this to dry. We'll get it in place and we'll try have a look at an engine going round it again, just to show it's working nice. Right, we're now painted and corked all the way to here. And here. That's including screwed into the baseboard. And that's all the way from over here. So this is all secure now. I do need to get this track pinned down. Now, I have tested it, it does run. You might notice we have a train running through what is going to be the station area at the moment. Just been testing track, etc. Next time round, let's switch the points. So we've got that running nicely. I have got camera running, not brilliantly, but a little bit. So I'll put up in that corner. We'll run the camera of going round, and up in this corner, I'll just move the camera down so you can see the train passing. First of all, under this side, where I have raised it up by 1.2 centimetres, compared to under this side that hasn't been done yet, which I'm also going to raise to 1.2 centimetres. Even though we're clearing, it's a bit close for my liking, and I'd like that little bit further so I can be sure some of the taller trains are going to run nicely. next stage is I need to do exactly the same to all this back area, so that needs to come out, you paint it, get cork on. Same with the far corner, and that's when I'll raise it up by the 1.2 centimetres. And once that's raised, we'll get this side also. Wait. Yeah, we'll get this side still needs to be secured into place. Actually, gotta try. That's better. So that side next, and here comes the train again. Quite pleased with how this is running, nicely through what will be a station. Got a nice view there. Yeah. Woo. Underneath and up the back. Once this layout is all running, I have a feeling you won't be able to see this ramp at all, but that's way in the future. Anyway, I'm off to start on the back, and we'll probably next look when all of that the other side is done, because you've seen me doing this side. Right, I will go through what I've been doing bit by bit here. So I've added a double slip in here, so when we go through the bottom area, because it swaps lines, we can come straight up and swap over, and eventually we'll put signals in and relays to be able to not interfere with another train going round, but that's way in the future. But that's done for now. And then continuing round here, all this board has been painted in the base brown, and we've corked all the way round. Bear with me while I come round. So we are now have cork all the way round. The whole boards, or everything that we've laid so far, so painted brown and corked. And there's a lot of other stuff going to be going on. You will have noticed I've got a couple of engines going round, both at different speeds, and it's literally to make sure that they're passing everywhere, no problem. So if there's an issue anywhere, eventually they will meet together at that point. I hope there isn't. There's been none so far, but everything's working fine. Let's see if we can bring this out slightly. So my next point, I don't think we can get on this very well, can we? Oh yeah, that's as far out as I can come. So next up is doing the station. Those observant will notice there's now only 4 lines instead of 6 as I had. So I've done away with the terminating line at the top. I've done away with where we were going to go into this side from this line. And I've done away with the running loop for the heritage line. I do need to make alterations there because we're now coming in to terminate here. This will be the branch line for the bottom. I've decided the branch line is only going to be on one side. I'm not going to have it running both sides, or at least not at the moment. So my next thing is altering that entrance into the station for 2 lines now instead of the one that I did. But I think we'll do that on another video, because it's going to be a whole project. Is painting this, getting cork on it, getting all the entrances and exits to the station. As you can see, I'm starting to plan what's happening with the heritage line. We'll go over that later as well. There's another siding that's been built off the station. So plans are coming on. Corking's gone really well, so I think this update's really nice. And we'll continue next time. So thank you for carrying on watching me as I build my train set. Still unnamed. It may carry on just being called a train set forever, because I think it's quite misleading to have a train set this size that's just called a train set. But yeah, thank you for joining me again. A lot more to come. As you can possibly tell, there's going to be all sorts of electronics in the future, but I need to get the tracking first, and that's probably another month or two until we'll be finished with that. But we're having fun. So thank you for now.